Okay, so today I'm going to be speaking about rainbows and the Islamic perspective on that. Now, I know what you think I'm going to say, and I'm going to get to that point at the end of the video and what has become of rainbows. But today I want to start at the beginning. So, in the beginning, rainbows were always a natural phenomenon that people couldn't explain. Um, and I'm just gonna give some examples of what people used to believe. So the Germans, the ancient Germans, thought that the rainbow was a bridge for gods to take trips around the world. The Japanese priests had similar ideas. For the Babylonians, the people in Asia, they used to believe that the rainbow was the necklace of the love god Ishtar. Um, Also, in Chinese literature, the rainbow was a yin and yang, masculine and feminine principle, and the ancient Greeks hadn't really got around to studying it. And finally, the thing that I want to mention is that it was also mentioned in the Iliad. It's a book written by Homer, which people love. It's a fictional story, but it's still used and studied today. Basically, the goddess Iris takes Aphrodite from the battle area to Olympus by following the rainbow. Anyway, the whole point of this is to show how the rainbow has always been a natural phenomenon. There's always been mystical things about it. If anyone's heard the thing, everyone believes that at the end of the rainbow there's a leprechaun and they have a pot of gold. That's always been linked to, I think, Irish tradition. Um, but anyway, I want to talk about rainbows from an Islamic perspective. So the first thing that I want to mention is a narration. This from Bidayah wa Nihaya. So basically, what happened is the Persian emperor Heraclius wrote to Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, who was the Khalifa at the time, and he said he asked about the galaxy and the rainbows, and he also asked about a place where the sun has not shined except for 1 hour. So Muawiyah radiallahu anhu gave this letter to Abdullah bin Abbas, the cousin of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this is the response that he gave. He said, "The rainbow is a protection for the people of earth from flooding, and the galaxy is the door to the heaven, from which the earth is separated. As for the place on which the sun has not shone, except for 1 hour of the daytime, it is that which lies beneath the sea that was parted for the children of Israel." Uh, children, so that is regarding that. In terms of the narration, it basically explains what the people of the time used to believe about rainbows, and also in terms of the 1 hour for the sun, that is when Musa alayhi salam split the Red Sea. But anyway, this just shows the mystical nature of rainbows, and scientifically, no one could really explain it. So now I want to talk about some developments in that science and where did it start from. So the main point of where it started from is the Greeks. The Greeks started it, and I think it was Aristotle. So Aristotle looked into rainbows, and he basically said that it was some type of reflection. And there is also a primary rainbow and a secondary rainbow, which is something that you can see. You see there's a secondary rainbow on the outer ring, and then obviously the main primary rainbow. So after Aristotle had his look at it, he didn't really get far. And then here is where the Muslims get involved. So this was happening during the Islamic Golden Age, during the Abbasid era. And people regard it as the Islamic Golden Age. This is between, I think, the 9th century to the 13th century. So what happened? So Hassan ibn al-Haytham, he done a lot of study into optics. He was a very famous Persian researcher, scholar. Um, yeah, he basically looked into the rainbow, and it got passed around. So the developments were Kamal ad-Din. He had the main explanation of the rainbow, which now I'm going to get into. So we know how a rainbow now is formed. It is formed by the reflection of light in a water droplet, and because white light splits into different wavelengths, R, red, Roy, G, Biv, so it splits into these different colors. And that's essentially how a rainbow is formed. That's why it always happens after rain goes and then the sun comes out because of the reflection of the light in the water droplets in the air. So this is something that Kamal ad-Din al-Farisi, Farisi means Persian at the time, because the center of the Islamic Golden Age was Baghdad, so he was a Persian. But anyway, he basically found this out. He found out that, and he explained that rainbows are formed through this water reflection. It wasn't perfect, of course, and this was further developed. But this is just something that I want to say, is that the Muslims contributed to science so much, especially in the Islamic Golden Age, which a lot of people don't know about. So what did Kamal ad-Din al-Farisi actually say? He showed the change that occurred when the sunlight enters the water droplet and how many times the ray reflects and refracts, so how many times it reflects and how many times it bends. So he explained how the rays have two refractions and one reflection, two reflections and two refractions for the secondary rainbow. But that's all the science stuff. The main point is that the Muslims contributed a lot, and in terms of where did this further development of the rainbow go, it went to Descartes. He was during the 16th century, and he was French. So what I'm trying to say is that these developments of science happened all around the world. In this particular example, it started from Greece, and then it came to the Muslims in the Golden Age in Baghdad, and then it went to France. So all of these major scientific contributions helped explain the world that we live in today. And one other side note that I want to mention is that Hassan ibn Haytham, he had very big ideas in optics, which we still use today. Okay, finally, speaking about rainbows, I want to come back to this central idea. What has a rainbow become today? A lot of people don't know about it scientifically. It's not something that I ever learned in school, because we kind of skip to the Greek theories of the prism and the reflecting of light, but people still can't explain what a rainbow is and how it's formed. But anyway, what does a rainbow mean today? A rainbow is not a good symbol nowadays. It's, in terms of Islamically, it's not accepted in any religion to be homosexual, especially when you go to the Catholic churches, the Islamic mosques, because the whole reason of religion is for people to multiply, and then pass on that religion to their children. And in terms of Abrahamic, I haven't looked at other religions, but in these main core religions, which the majority of the world believe in, is to reproduce and to spread your beliefs around the world through that reproduction as well. So yeah, I think the rainbow has become it's completely, there's no more mysticism about it, and through that I think the main world religion has become science, because people use science to explain everything, and that's another video which I'm gonna be making. But yeah, I just want to talk about the development of a rainbow, and how it actually relates to Muslims, and a lot of Muslims might not know about that. But yeah, it's not a symbol of good today, and especially with the pride flag and everything. But yeah, that's another topic which I don't want to speak about. Thank you for watching.